Hi there. Today I'm going to share about the 3 pillars of house healing. Align with nature, declutter and organize, house clearing. Um, why would we heal our home? Because when we heal our home, we heal ourselves. Healthy home equals healthy humans. So aligning with nature is about aligning the space with the forces of nature to foster good health and life balance. And that can be using various house balancing practices like Feng Shui. I'm going to speak about Feng Shui because that's the practice that I use. And then, of course, decluttering and organizing. Those two go hand in hand. And I just did a video about how decluttering and organizing go hand in hand. So I'll put that link in the description of this video. And then there's house clearing. House clearing is working on the clearing the unseen spiritual energy, spiritual chemistry of the space, clearing it, but it's about restoring balance to that spiritual ecosystem, clearing out that old stagnant energy and refreshing the space. I'll also share a blog in the description of this video to give more information about house clearing. But these 3 work together. So let's unpack them a little bit. Let's start with decluttering and organizing. So if you have clutter, that's a good place to start when it comes to these 3 pillars. Because clutter is a good first step to Feng Shui, and it's a good first step to house clearing because it has such a profound imbalancing effect on the space and on the humans who live there. So if I was to work with somebody for a Feng Shui balancing, and the person had clutter, that would be one of the remedies. It would be to recommend decluttering. So that's why it's a good first step, a good place to begin, because it imbalances the space. And when you declutter and organize, you're bringing more balance to the space. Likewise, house clearing. Clutter has such a profound imbalancing effect on that spiritual ecosystem. And the house clearing is not going to be quite as beneficial long term if the space, if clutter remains. So, but sometimes people have clutter and it's gotten to the level where it's impacted the space to the level that the space is now impacting them, and they feel very stuck and blocked about how to move forward with doing that decluttering. Overwhelmed, maybe have the desire to declutter, but just can't quite figure out how to begin or have the motivation or inspiration to do it. And that's the situation. When that's the case, then it works quite well to begin with one of the other pillars, because that can often get that chi moving in the space and bring that motivation. One example, I did house clearing for somebody, and afterwards, after the house clearing, her son, teenage son, whose room was quite cluttered and also dirty, he spontaneously started going through his things, getting rid of things, cleaning up the space. That was a really positive result. He wasn't asked to do it, but he just spontaneously had the energy and motivation to take care of it. Likewise, when working with someone and giving recommendations on a Feng Shui evaluation and Feng Shui remedies, oftentimes getting that awareness on that level of the Feng Shui of how the house is influencing their life and different ways to work with nature to bring it into balance, and starting to apply those remedies brings a lot of movement and motivation towards decluttering. And people have found that they are much more inspired and motivated to take action, and they do. So yeah, that's a good time to begin with one of those other pillars if you're feeling, really blocked moving forward with decluttering. But then again, there are some people who are organized and they don't have clutter. That's not their issue, and that's great. So that's definitely great. And then you want to look at the other areas because um, clutter and disorganization is not the only um, imbalance that there can be in this space. So um, in Feng Shui, we pay a lot of attention to how to align the space with nature and pay a lot of attention to the structure itself, the house. Before you even move in, before you even bring your stuff in the house is telling a story. And it has a lot to do with the placement and the relationship between the doors, in particular the front door, and the stairs, the stove, anything related to fire and water. The shape of the house has a big influence. Also, how the house is sitting on the land. All of these things have a story to tell and have a pattern. And so we do remedies to bring the space into balance so that mirror is reflecting good health and life balance. Then there's also the stuff that you bring into the house, even if it's not clutter, even if it is organized, we pay a lot of attention to the placement of our things. Things in particular, placement of furniture, like the bed is very important, placement of the desk is very important, and the placement of the stove. So all of our things have a relationship to the house and influence that mirror effect. So house clearing, again, I have a blog that will share more about that, but that's the other level, what's happened in the house. So there's a couple levels with house healing. It can be things that have happened in the house, things that have happened in the neighborhood, all of that. And then also, of course, clutter, as I mentioned, all of that influences the energy, their spiritual chemistry or ecosystem of the space. So a house clearing is cleansing the space and bringing it into balance on this other unseen spiritual level. So all these things work together to bring the house into balance and to heal the space. So I will talk another time about the other three areas, house cleaning, air quality, daily tidying, seasonal decluttering. Those are more of that maintenance level. We've got to keep things, attend to things on an ongoing basis with our house. So I'll share more about that later. I would love to hear your questions and comments. If you have any questions about this process, and I hope that was helpful. Thanks so much for listening, and I look forward to sharing with you next time.